You know what I love about research? Sometimes you find exactly what you're looking for, and then sometimes you stumble across something that completely changes how you see the world. Yesterday I was reading about construction waste. I mean, you would not believe the stuff I read for you. And then I found a story that made me stop and reread it twice. And then I kept digging and found another story that on the surface has nothing to do with the construction or waste. But together, they show something about human capability that I just can't stop thinking about. Good morning. I'm Steve, coming to you from beautiful Wake Forest, North Carolina, where I find the stories that slip through the cracks. You know, the ones that don't make your news feed or even the evening news, but probably should. Stories about what people are actually accomplishing when nobody's paying attention. And I've got a dad joke for you later that's so wonderfully terrible, it might actually make you groan out loud.
Oh.
In fact, I guarantee it. So here's what caught my attention yesterday. Researchers at the University of Alabama figured out how to turn potato skins into concrete. Yeah, that's what I just said. You heard me right. Exactly. Dr. Wang was staring at one of those problems that seems impossible to solve. Cement production creates about 8% of the world's carbon emissions. 8%. That's a lot. That's massive. But here's the thing. We can't exactly stop building things, so Wang started thinking about alternatives. And then came what I can only describe as a perfect what-if moment. What if potato skins, the stuff we literally throw away, could help solve this? Working with researchers from the University of Idaho, because, of course, they know potatoes, Wang's team figured out how to ferment potato peels to produce organic acids. And those acids extract calcium from industrial waste like coal ash and demolished concrete. That calcium becomes calcium carbonate, which is essential for making cement. And here's the part that got me. They're not just replacing one thing with another. No, they're creating what they call a circular economy. Agricultural waste that would normally rot in landfills. Now it's construction material. Industrial waste that communities have been dealing with for decades, also construction material. And the whole process actually captures carbon instead of releasing it. The project just got $6 million from the National Science Foundation, but here's where it gets really interesting. They're not just making new potato skin cement. No, they're partnering with researchers at the University of New Mexico who have large-scale 3D printing capabilities. So instead of just pouring concrete the traditional way, they can actually print buildings using these potato skin materials. And get this, early tests suggest they might be able to create metamaterials during the printing process. That's engineered substances with properties that don't exist in nature. They say that's a good thing. Wang said something that stuck with me. Sometimes when looking for green alternatives, we produce something so expensive most people can't use it. That isn't the case with this research. And honestly, of all the materials we could have figured out how to use for construction, potato skins? The universe sure has a weird sense of humor. But that story got me thinking about something else. What humans are capable of when we really need to be. Which brings me to a conversation with some B-2 bomber pilots about flying 44-hour missions. B-2 bombers have been in the news recently, but this is of particular interest to me since I was a search and rescue pilot and I've spent many, many, many hours in a cramped cockpit. These guys, though, they're flying 44-hour missions in a cramped cockpit. Captain Mike Haffner, who manages B-2 simulators at Whiteman Air Force Base, explained the challenge. When you get started in that mission, it's important to not get lulled into a false sense of security because you feel like you got 12 hours or more to get over the target area. You've got to be productive and get things done so you can start taking turns taking naps. The aircraft has a small cot behind the seats. It wasn't built with it initially. Early air crews got clever and went to Walmart and bought a cot. Fits right in that space. Space is only about 6 feet long. That's all the extra space they have. During a 44-hour mission, one pilot told me he got maybe 5 hours of sleep total. 5 hours over nearly 2 days. They plan everything in advance. Who sleeps when, who handles refueling, who manages weapons systems. And flight surgeons provide stimulants to help pilots stay alert, though not everyone takes them. Some rely on adrenaline and careful meal planning. Lieutenant General Steve Basham, who flew B-2s for 9 years, kept it simple. Turkey sandwiches on wheat bread, no cheese. As bland as you possibly can, he said, because when you're in a cramped space with only one chemical toilet for 44 hours, digestion becomes a tactical consideration. Here's what strikes me about both of these stories. They're about people figuring out how to work within impossible constraints. The potato skin researchers had to solve climate change with kitchen scraps and industrial waste. And the B-2 pilots have to stay sharp and functional in conditions that would break most people. And they're both doing it, not because someone told them it was inspiring or meaningful, but because it's their job and they're good at it. I love people. You know, it might take us decades to figure out that potato skins might save the construction industry, but once we figure it out, we're going to build entire research programs and we're going to get the job done. If any of this seems worth passing along, whether it's potato skins becoming building materials or the reality of what our B-2 military pilots actually have to do on those long missions, send this to someone who might find it useful. And if you come across stories like these in your own community, let me know. You can reach me through tapyournews.com. Sometimes the best discoveries come from neighbors who know where to look. Oh, I didn't forget. Here's the dad joke that I promise you. It's wonderfully terrible. I had to fire the guy I hired to mow my lawn. You see, he couldn't cut it. I even know the punchline. It makes me laugh. I'll be back tomorrow with more stories you probably haven't heard. Take care of yourself. I'll catch you tomorrow. Stay awesome. I will see ya.